Hello everyone! Welcome to my new video. I hope you hear that I have a new microphone. It's pretty nice. Well, I think it's nice. Of course, it's not the best, but that's what I can afford right now. I can link it in the description if someone is interested. Yes. So, in this week's video, I'm doing a tutorial of an eye. How to paint an eye in oils. Have fun. What I'm doing first, I'm mixing the darkest darks first, then slightly going up to the lightest lights. First I start with the red tones because it's mostly in the skin, but in the shadow areas there are mostly blue and green tones, which I'm mixing later. Now I'm mixing like orangey, pinkish tones, and you can always tone them down with a complementary color. If they are too bright, then you use the complementary color. I can make an extra video of that if you want. Now it's only about how to paint an eye. Like for example, orange, the complementary color is blue. I like to tone it down with green mostly, but you have to look on the reference photo how it looks and then adjust the colors. Here you see me adding blue and green to get the color right. I'm just doing it because I know I have to really think about how to do it, but if you want, I can do a video about it. Now we are at the green tones, so the shadow tones mostly. And yeah, it is this green. I know, it's weird. And now I mixed some bluish tones, also for the shadow areas. You know, when you look tired, those dark circles under your eye, that's mostly blue. Yeah, that's the color I think I used then. Then slowly going to the lightest lights. I don't know if I used completely white, like pure white. I don't know if I used it in this tutorial. Well, I mention it later because I'm not sure right now. And now adding some pink tones and making it purple, so a cooler pink tone or a purple. We will see. Always tone it down with a complementary color, greens or maybe yellows. Yes, because it's like a red tone. Tone it down with green tones or blue tones if it's like more orange. I think when you know these things, painting is much easier. And I don't know, in my beginning art stages, I didn't know about that, and I was really wondering why my colors are that bright. So after a while, I kind of watched videos and went to art school, and then I learned some important things. So now we begin with the painting part. Finally, what I like to do is to paint or to draw a box around the eye, usually. The thing about this video is that I forgot to put a box on the reference photo. I kind of messed up the eyelid a little bit. I just drew the box without a box being there originally. At the beginning, it's a little bit not proportionate to the reference picture, but I will correct it later in the video. You will see it. But now you see my mistake. It's a little bit too big, too rounded. It shouldn't be like that. Yes, I feel really dumb because it's a tutorial and I did this annoying mistake. But yes, I also make a lot of mistakes, but on this video I also made a mistake, which is annoying. But yeah, just continue. And a tip of mine, when you draw your sketch and see that something is wrong, correct it first. Correct the line until it's right, until the proportion is right, and then erase the wrong line. I learned it in art school, which is a really, really good tip, because when you draw something and erase it, you can make the same mistake again. This can save you a lot of time and energy, and you can always paint over your lines that you made. I like to begin the box, then I drew a almond shaped eye, then the upper lid, the eyelid, and the waterline, I think, the eyelashes, and the part where you have the dark circle under your eye. Under eye, I don't know. Just paint what you see and not what it is, if that makes sense. I look on the photo and just copy every little thing. I never think anything out of my head. So first I add the darkest darks and the mid-tones and the dark burnt umber mixed with ultramarine blue, I think. And I painted it in the shadow area of the eyelid. But when you see it somewhere else, you can always add it somewhere else until you don't see this color anymore. Then you can change the color. That's what I do. Some people just finish one part and move to another and add the smallest details in the end, or do everything at once. Like do the iris completely done, then do the white of the eye, and so on. But I like to start with the darkest darks, move through the mid-tones, which color is nearest to my color on my brush right now. I don't like to have a million brushes laying around. I usually just use 1 to 3 brushes. In this painting I used a flat, soft brush. And this brush that I have there is not even a painting brush. I bought it in the dollar store for like €1, and dollar store, Euro store for €1. It's a makeup brush which works just fine. So quality is of course not the best, but it's enough for painting. So if you are a total beginner, go check out the cheapest supplies. You can always do that. Then adding the lighter color. I know it's pretty light, but as I said, I always do the color that is mostly on my brush, and the closest color. Yeah. Now I'm adding some shadow tones, the green tones, the blue tones under the eye. And I don't really blend much anymore. I kind of try to use a mid color, a color in between two colors. Sometimes I blend things because it's too harsh of a line. Like later on around the iris, it was a too harsh line, and you see in the reference picture it is a little bit blended too. It's not like blue, dark blue, and like white. Of course it's never white, the eye white, but there is a little bit of a blend, so I wanted to add it. And yeah, you see that I even didn't have the exact same color that are on my reference picture. They are close, but in the end it really looks like the reference picture. So I don't know, in the beginning or even later, you don't really have to worry a lot about being 100% correct. It could also turn into a style. When your colors are a little bit off, you have to experiment with the colors. And yeah, some people like to use mostly warm tones. Some people like to use like very much blue tones, or just use the reference picture as a reference and do their own thing. But as a tutorial, I wanted to do it as close to the reference as possible. With every new layer, I'm adding some more detail and darkening up darks, shadows, lightening up some areas that have to be lighter. I love painting the iris, and I love painting eyes, okay? I think a lot of artists love painting eyes. I don't know what it is. Maybe because it's so unique and it's so different on every human. It's nice. I love it. Like always, I start with the darkest darks. And the black on the eye is not even a black. I always try to avoid straight black from the tube. I used it a lot in the past. I don't know, it made my paintings look, I didn't like it. And then when I tried out mixing it myself, like burnt umber, ultramarine blue or Prussian blue, and adding orange, it's a natural black for me and I like it more. But sometimes it's not enough. Then I add a little bit black to this mixture. Adding a little bit of greens, lighter colors until the eye is covered. Like cover everything and add the details later. Yes. Now moving on to the white of the eye, which I mentioned is never pure white. I don't know, it looks always like white, but it's never really white. In this eye is very blue, a little bit yellow and red, but mostly red. And in the end, I almost forgot to add the veins on the white of the eye, and it looked kind of weird. But I added them. Yeah, always defining the shadows until you're done, or at least when you think you're done. Because a painting is done when you say it's done, and no one can tell you when it's done. It's only up to you. That's why I love art, because I can do whatever I want. And nothing is wrong. Oh yes, now you see me correcting the eyelid, which was very wrong. Finally, it's right, and I can look at it. Oh, I forgot to mention, the iris of an eye is also not a complete circle, as you see, and the pupil is also not 100% in the middle, which is interesting. Also, in my earlier art times, I really tried to do circles, and I don't know, the eyes looked really, really weird, like scary even. So try to make them not perfect, which makes an eye perfect. I hope it makes sense. I try my best. And also, in my beginning art stages, I don't know, the waterline, I kind of didn't make it this thick. It's kind of thick, you know? I don't know what I did. I really made a thin line. It was almost not visible, which made the eye also a little bit crazy looking. And when you add the eyelashes that are not really curved, how they're supposed to be, it adds also really crazy looking people. If you want, I can make a video where I show my old pieces where I was like 13. Yeah, in 8 years can change a lot of practice and passion and more practice. Yes, a lot of people always ask me, how did you do that? Oh, you're so talented. Yeah, I don't know if I'm talented or if I just like to paint and just have a lot of patience and practice and practice and practice and practice. It didn't just falls down on you and you're amazing. Of course, there are people that are like that, and I wasn't like that. I just loved painting and drawing and do everything art related. Yes. So if you want to see my old ugly disgusting pieces, then write it down in the comments. And then you see me blend out the iris with a mid color, so mid blue that's a little bit blended and not just smeared around. Then adding more shadows and shadows because it's kind of, there's missing some contrast at the bottom. Then I added that, and lighter colors and mid-tones. It's a process. It's not just only the darks, then only the mids and the lights. Now I'm adding the folds under the eye, wrinkles, and some texture of the fine skin, and more highlights and more details. And now we are almost at the end. Now the eyelashes, which is still the hardest part for me. I don't know why. It just is. I suggest you to make curved lines, not too curved and not too straight, and try to paint them down and then up, but mostly down, because you don't see much of the eyelashes up. It's mostly down, so concentrate on that. And then the bottom lash line, I also do a few. I didn't make every single hair, just to make them visible. I wanted to tell you something about this little piece. I finished it and let it sit on my easel, and my little sphinx jumped on it and ruined it. Yes. it's oil paint, so it dries very, very slowly. And he went right through the middle. But the good thing is, he made a new art piece of it. It's like a melting eye. If you want to see it, check out my Instagram. It's funny. He made a new art piece of my practice piece. Then I added a little bit of an highlight on the bottom waterline, and in the end, of course, the veins. The little veins that I almost forgot to do. And here you go, the final piece. I really hope you liked it and practice. And I hope you get better. I hope it helped. And I will see you next time. Bye.